to the Power 15 interview series for the Home Builder Growth Summit. I'm Meredith Oliver, and today with me, whoop, whoop, I have online sales counselor extraordinaire, Cori Masters. Welcome.
Hi, everyone. My name is Cori, like Meredith said. I have been an online sales counselor for about 6 years. I started when the role was pretty small in the industry, so it's been awesome to see it grow into something so important like it is today.
Yes.
So that's what I've been doing, and I've seen it in small groups of people, with just starting with one OSC to working on a team of 4 or 5 OSCs. So
Wow.
if you have questions, let me know.
Yeah, and you've worked in a couple different geographic markets, different price points. I mean, you've really run the spectrum on that particular role.
Yeah, I worked in Raleigh, North Carolina when I started. Then I moved to Idaho and Boise, and now I work for a company in Oklahoma City and Tulsa, but I still live in Boise, Idaho. So it's everything's super online here.
Yeah, you've learned a lot of different markets. That's really good, though. I mean, that's one of the things I like about my job is working with different builders around the country on their digital marketing. I get to see these different markets, and some things are very similar. Doesn't matter. It's new homes is a new home, but other little things are different and interesting.
Yes, it's crazy to see how different it is, like you said, but how well the process works when you're doing it, because I know it works in small, and I know it works really big, and it works in North Carolina, and it works in Oklahoma City. So you just got to do it.
And an OSC turns out, I mean, I always thought it was very important and very worthwhile to a home building sales and marketing process. But once COVID and the pandemic hit, I mean, it became the essential role on the team times 100, 100, 100, 100.
Yes. There were a lot of companies that were very lucky that they had already a team set up, and there was a lot of people that were struggling. So hopefully everyone's set up and good to go now. But if they have questions, they'll come to you or anyone else and get their answers.
That's right, and get them. Yeah. So it's probably a bit of a leading the witness question to say, on a scale of 1 to 10, where would you rate an OSC's importance and the role and the importance in a home building sales and marketing team?
Well, I would say 100.
Yes.
I'm terrible at math, but a good salesperson is terrible at math. But
right.
Yeah, I would say 100 out of 10, because not only in the world of today, and I feel like I'm so tired about talking what's going on today and with everything, but we do need someone that does this, and we tend to break the gap between sales hungry people and very scared or very concerned customers that don't know how the process works. I mean, I was just telling today to my boss how much I love new or first time homeowners, because they have so many questions and they're always so happy to go out and see a home. And we're there to help that. And then we're also there to help those people that feel like they know everything. And nowadays the market has changed so much from when they bought a home 5 years ago, that we're still there to help the people that are buying their 7th home. So it is important, and it's amazing when you have the right team and the right people. So yeah, 100% agree. You need an OSC in your team, and it's the best position. I mean, I love what I do.
Yeah. I mean, the acceleration of the 24/7 conversation, that's what happened once we all went virtual and we were quarantined, and we weren't just wanting to go during model home hours to talk to someone. And so it was the builders that had that, I remember on one of our very first town halls, I didn't really have any science behind it. My gut just said, double your live chat hours if you can. like go from as early in the morning until as late as your OSC will do it, or to get somebody to take an extra shift, because I think people will be wanting to have conversations all hours now. And that was the shift you can make when you have this role in place, because there are just a lot more questions now.
And something I've seen is that everyone is adding an extra OSC to their team. And it's like you said, you need more people. And sometimes when you're working in a team already and they add more people, as an OSC, you get concerned. You're like, I'm not going to make money. It's going to be terrible. Someone's going to take my leads. And from previous experience, the more you add, the better it gets for everyone. You will have less people, but you will be better at what you do, and you'll have more time with everyone. So just as if anyone's concerned, it's the best thing that can happen to you to have a partner helping you with everything.
It's interesting that you say that, because when I'm working with the builder that is starting their OSC program, I tell them all the time, there is a magic to this. It's kind of like sticking a stick in a hornet's nest and stirring it up. Like when you start your program, maybe you will have 100 inbound leads a month, and that's it. And there's something about having the OSC and sticking the stick in the hornet's nest that within a few months you have 500 a month. Or it grows, and then you add another OSC and the whole volume grows again. It's not a minus, it's a plus. And I don't really know what the science is behind that, but that's what you're saying, right?
It's the more people you have to work with, you get overwhelmed, and your quality of attention to people tends to go down because you're just trying to attend the people that need your attention right now. But our job as an OSC is to nurture them and to be there 3 months or a week from now when you have something else that came up and that lot became available and you can remember them. So if you're working with 40 people a month and your partner is working with 40, then you'll be great. And if you're working with 100 and they're working with 100, it's better than you doing 200 and getting less appointments and less sales because you're not there to help. So I always agree that you need more people. I mean, the more the better. And then you have someone to share your struggles with. Because as an OSC, we're very dramatic and we want to talk to someone about the crazy person that just called
dramatic.
us. Oh, we are. I think we all are. It has to be like a personality trait.
It's a sales and marketing thing. It's a sales and marketing thing, I think. But you're right. I mean, we feel what we feel. We live in a currency of relationships and emotions. I mean, that's what makes us good people, right? So, but I mean, I think if we were to boil down the online sales counselor position and to very, very simple, what makes one successful versus another one, I think it's still two things. You give me your opinion and please feel free to disagree. I think response time is still number one. You would think over the years that might have faded or some bright new shiny thing, but it's not. It's still, you can't be too fast. You can only be too slow in getting back and responding to people. And then that follow-up of the ongoing follow-up for the leads that stop talking to you and ghost you after a couple of communications and then they're like MIA. It's that third, fourth, fifth, 10th. Do you think that's still a valid, important factor?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think I still get people that tell me all the time, oh, I'm not looking, but I really appreciate you like calling me back after 6 months. And it's like, well, I'm still here. If you buy a new home in the future, let me know. Like, at least they know you're still reliable and you're consistent in what you're doing. And somehow they remember you, it's
true.
It's crazy. They see your face, and I think it's funny when they're like, well, I was chatting with someone that said their name was Cori. And I'm like, well, that was me. Oh, no way. It was that really you? Yes. And they don't believe it. They think it's just some person somewhere else. And especially because I have an accent, I don't know. They think I'm in some like call center somewhere else in Argentina, and it's
I'm
just
in Boise,
fun.
Idaho, man.
I know.
This is heartland of America right here, baby.
I know.
Well,
It's
and
so
that's
funny.
the reason I bring those two things up, response time and lead nurture, is because back to your point of don't be afraid to add to the OSC team and grow it, is you can get to the point where response time and lead nurture is getting impacted because of the total volume that's coming in. And when that's happening, it's time to add somebody else, because it's like the golden rule. Those are the two things. There's a lot of there are different ways to do an OSC program. Each builder's a little different. We got built on your lot. We got custom. And it's fine to kind of adapt the program to your business model if you don't violate the two golden rules, in my opinion. That's really, really what it takes. So, okay. So next question is, so all these different leads and home buyers that you've talked to, who stands out? Somebody that really touched your heart or made an impact on you? Tell us their story and what makes it so memorable and important to you.
Yeah. So when I was living in Raleigh, well, I speak Spanish too, so that this comes with the story. But when I was there, I always had the signature in my email that said I speak Spanish too, but I never had anyone that told me they needed my help. So one day we get a phone call and the lady was speaking in Spanish with my coworker, and she was like, I don't know what's going on here. You got to take this phone call. So I take the phone call, and it was this super sweet lady called Heriberta. And she had actually moved here to the States like 20 years ago and had started her own cleaning business and had no idea how to buy a home. But she was going to pay for it in cash because she had been working for 20 years and saving her money in cash, because that's what most Latino buyers do. That's how people in other countries buy homes, because they're not as lucky to live in a country like the US where you can go get a loan with 2.27% interest rate. So she was so worried about that. Right? So she was so worried about this whole thing. Even the fact that I spoke Spanish and that I could help her like talk with a lender about like paying for closing costs and how to help her, and just being that person in the middle, like speaking Spanish and just thinking, well, this could be my grandma buying a home, and I would hope someone is here to help her with as much care as me and like everyone else in my company was doing at the time. And even a third party lender that took the time to be like, okay, Cori, you need to translate this and this and this. And I'm not a translator. I mean, it was scary and I was really confused about some legal terms, and we figured it out. And then this woman was able to buy her own home, pay for it in full cash, and move in. And I mean, she still texted me like 2 years later about warranty. And it was super funny to me. I was like, no, like it's been 2 years. I know. We're good. We can be friends now.
We need to be a little bit of boundaries, right?
Yeah. Yeah, she would text me pictures of the house, her kids. I mean, it was just beautiful. And I think that's what the program should be. You should be, I mean, we want relationships. And whenever I have a hard customer, I always like to think, well, this could be my parents living in the other side of the world and trying to rent a home, and no one wanting to take 10 minutes to help them out because their accent is funny. You know,
it's true.
I think
it's true.
That's what we need.
And as a parent too, you think this could be my child. This could be, you know, when you're dealing with younger people, even, you know, you think this is somebody's kid, and they could be mine. And I would want another adult to be kind and helpful. Or same way with a senior, you know, I want them to be kind to my grandmother. So I think what you're saying here, and for everybody listening, is what's your why? These moments that create your motivation to get up and do what we do every day. I mean, work is our work. You know, work is not our fun. I mean, I enjoy my work. I love my work, but it's not the same as going on vacation with my husband and my son. And you have two beautiful children. I mean, like spectacularly model baby, beautiful children. That you do. They're so pretty, inside and out. And it's not the same as that, right? But yet we want our work to mean something and to get some pleasure from it. And I think that's where the why comes in.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think, and I was just talking to my husband about this too. Like, I'm not a doctor. I'm not saving lives. Like, how do we figure it out that we don't have not an unimportant job, but something that makes a difference, And just what you just said, I hadn't thought about that exactly as my why, but it does make sense as to why I take the time to help those people that may not know everything about the whole process, and I feel bad because I want someone to be there and help them. So yeah,
that's
thank
right.
you for helping me.
Yeah. I mean, I think, it sounds like to me you're basically a teacher at heart, and this is the subject that you teach, welcome to Cori's class on home buying. And you're helping people who maybe society would brush by too quickly or not take the time, slow down, understand the language barrier. Like, you're providing that service in this case that maybe not everybody would take the time to do. And it's interesting, if you're listening and you haven't listened yet to Cori Mulcrone's interview, you should definitely, once this one's done, don't stop now, but once we're finished, get into the vault and search up for Cori, Kerry, K-E-R-R-Y, Mulcrone, and listen to her interview, because we had a parallel conversation to this one.
That's so cool.
Yeah. She was telling me about when she was on site selling, and somebody that really touched her and was memorable to her and why. And so that would be a good one. If you like this kind of content, you should check that one out. Okay, so here's a fun question for you, and our last one as we start to wrap up our time together. If you had a $20,000 budget for work, not shoes, sadly, or a fabulous vacation.
About a vacation already.
Right, a fabulous vacation. I'm not talking about for personal, for work. If you had $20,000 and your boss was just like, here's 20 grand, spend it, what would you spend it on and why?
I would hire a professional photographer and videographer to go out and help me create content for my company, our company. I think, and especially being so far away right now from my coworkers and the homes that we sell, being in Boise and our homes are in Oklahoma. Me and Beth, my boss, are always like, man, I wish I was there to go out and just be able to interview a little bakery or a little coffee shop, or figure out someone local that we want to create content for. And I loved it. And when I was at Royal Oaks in Raleigh, I would always go out and do little live videos in our communities. And I had my my home building tour where I recorded 6 months of our building process. And it was so fun. I mean, I love watching that stuff. I love having a YouTube video playing in the background when I'm working.
Right.
And that's what I would like people to be able to see from what we do. Because we see a lot of decorating and a lot of homemaking videos all the time in YouTube, but there's not that much about building with someone that's that I can relate to. We see $1 million homes on HGTV, and we see remodels from Fixer Upper, but we don't see a new home being built that's attainable to other people. So I think that would be so fun. I don't think my 20K really will go really far, but
I don't. I you know what? It depends on how you did it, of course. But I love it. I mean, you could be like Cori, the YouTube, Instagram influencer of new home construction, how homes get built, you know, and that would be amazing, right? Because I mean, that really is the marketing that connects, that resonates, that's memorable right now. I love that idea.
I'm like one of those buyers that obsesses over something. So if I'm buying a car, buying a home, buying a pair of jeans, I go and I love reading reviews and watching videos about people trying on the jeans. And it's so dumb. I'm like, why am I watching 10 videos of
I do it.
Spanx jeans? And I'm like, why don't we have that?
I know.
Why don't
I
we
totally
have that
do
at home?
it. Yeah, I buy so much. Well, and especially now, you know, with not really going out for COVID, I buy so much online clothes wise that I don't get to try on. So I read every line, true to size, runs small, runs big, you know, all the videos. Yeah, I do. I'm the same way. We're like these shopper stalkers people.
I'm terrible. Like our marketing people are like, people will not read that. And I'm like, oh, I will. If I was a buyer, I would go into our website and like look at every single little just trying to imagine myself in that new home that's not built yet. And that's what I would like to do. I would just like to have extra.
Yeah, and that so if you're listening, the point that we're really making is you are in the content publishing business. Even though you're a home builder, you're like the New York Times, you know, you're a publishing company now.
Yeah.
And if you're not publishing some kind of content for people to consume in the form of an interactive floor plan, you know, we've got awesome sponsors for our summit here, Focus 360, Owl House Interactive. I mean, that's content you need to be publishing, or it could be marketing content like blogs or videos, like what you're saying, but we are all in the publishing business. That's what marketing is now.
Yeah. And it's all we have.
Yeah. It's all we have, right?
Yeah. It
is. Yeah. People ask me like, well, do I have to blog? I'm like, what are your choices? Let's make a list of what marketing tactics still work. And what are your choices? And they go down the list and they're like, oh. Yeah. I'm like, right? Oh man, I know. Well, I think you would be fantastic at doing YouTube videos. That would be so host fun. Of your own construction
You could
channel.
be my only fan. I'll give you my top fan badge.
I will be. Not your only fan, but I will be your top fan for sure. Well, one of the things I've always appreciated about you, because we've known each other for several years in the industry, is you definitely have an attitude of learning and improving, even though you are excellent at what you do. Anytime we've interacted together, if I was consulting with your company or having you as part of our marketing mastermind groups through Meredith Communications, all these different things you and I've done together, it is always, what can I learn? How can I get better? And with an attitude like that, there's nowhere you can't go. There's nothing you can't do.
Oh, thank you.
That's it's so true. It's true. Yeah. So, you know, listeners, think about what is your attitude towards learning? You know, are you as open, or do you need to be more open, even though maybe you're very good at what you do? And just think about, if you had $20,000, buy shoes and a fabulous vacation, how would you spend it at your job? All right. Well, thank you, Cori, for contributing to the summit and to our audience and the industry. We appreciate you very, very much.
Thank you so much. I super appreciate it.
Thank you, guys. Bye.